All right, here in the bug slice, let's have a quick look at our reducers. So here we have this reducer, bug added. That means Redux Toolkit automatically creates an action for us called bug added. Now earlier we also created an action called add bug. So we have two actions with similar names. What is going on here? Well, if you're familiar with DDD or CQRS, you have probably heard of the terms command and event. So a command is an instruction into the system. It represents what needs to be done. An event represents what just happened. So these two actions that we have, the first action, add bug, has the notion of a command. It's an instruction. We want to add a bug. This other action has the notion of an event. Now we're going to follow the same pattern for resolving bugs. So here we have an action called bug resolved. This has the notion of an event, but we're also going to create a new action called resolve bug, which has the notion of a command. Okay, so down below, we're going to create a new action creator, export constant resolve bug. This function takes the ID of the bug and returns an API call action. So API call began. In this object, we're going to specify the URL, but this URL is going to be different from the URLs we used before. So as you know, this URL is /bugs, but when resolving a bug, we're going to send a patch request to /bugs/1, assuming that 1 is the ID of the bug we want to resolve. Now, what is patch? Well, you've probably heard of put. Both put and patch are used for updating data. With put, we update the entire resource, whereas with patch, we update one or more properties. In this case, we only want to update the resolved property. That's why we should send a patch request to this endpoint, okay? So we set the URL property to URL plus the ID of the bug we want to resolve. Next, we set the method to patch. In the body of the request, we want to include this object. And then we're going to set the success action to bug resolved the type. That's all we have to do. Our API middleware takes care of everything. This is the beauty of this approach. With this implementation, we have a single place where we're making API calls. That is our API middleware. So in this implementation, we are using Axios. If tomorrow we decide to replace Axios with a different library, this is the only place we have to modify. We don't have to open 10 different files and replace all references to Axios with something else, okay? So let's save the changes. Now, in index.js, let's import a couple of actions, load bugs and resolve bug. So first, we're going to load the bugs into our store, and then after 2 seconds, we want to resolve one of them. We're simulating a real-life scenario. So in our UI layer, first, we're going to load the bugs, and then we set a timeout. So after 2 seconds, we're going to dispatch resolve bug with the ID 1. Let's test our implementation. Save the changes. So we received the bugs. Then 2 seconds later, one of our bugs is resolved. Let's look at the state. Okay, here's the bug with the ID 1, and the resolved property is set to true.